Twifizzle. Twizizzle?
How about 10 seconds for Harambe?
Hit it.
Welcome, everybody, to Dropped Culture. This is that podcast where we pick up that piece of pop culture you forgot about or missed, shine it up real nice, and cram it in your ear holes. I'm here every week, like I am this week, something like that, with this guy.
We're here every episode.
And weeks.
It's
but
us.
if I'm here, you're here.
There's so much going on in this
I
world.
want to start over. Just kidding. Anyways, I'm Dan. That's Brock. Say hi, Brock.
Let's get a drink. Hello.
Hello.
This is my first time on a podcast. I don't know where to put my hands. What do I need to do? Do I need to talk over here?
We get to. I like to move my. I like to move around to make effects. All right, we better get after this.
I don't even know where that came
Yeah,
from.
no, I mean, it was good though.
Yeah.
We'll keep it.
So what are we talking about this week?
Well, we are going to follow up our last regular episode, which was Planet of the Apes, with a 1970 sequel, Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Starring James Franciscus.
Yes, James Franciscus of the Franciscus Five and other things.
The Franciscus 2, eventually. It wasn't a lot of Franciscuses. He seems so familiar to me with this movie. Though, like, it's just him because he was on every fucking television show.
He kind of looked like a knockoff Chuck Norris a little bit, too.
Yes. Yeah.
Like if there was like a, you squish Chuck Norris and somebody else together.
He was
I
a
don't know
tennis
who.
player, though.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, let's go squash. What?
Ooh, badminton in the yard. Let's go.
James Francisco wants to. Who is he? Is he related?
Franciscus.
Oh yeah, is he related to San Francisco?
No, but if it was San Franciscus, then
Franciscus,
perhaps.
Yes. This came out a year after the first one.
Yeah.
Because the first one I guess was a runaway success.
Yes, a hit, if you will.
A good twist at the ending, and they took
Damn you!
they took the twist at the ending and created a whole other movie.
Yeah, and in the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yes. And they chop it up too, to where it doesn't seem redundant.
Right.
But it is.
Well, I would imagine, especially if you watched them like back to back.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what?
Still,
It's like the previews or the beginning of the next television show when they show you what happened in the last episode.
Oh yeah, recap.
Yeah.
Sometimes recaps are good. This instance, yes.
Maybe if you hadn't seen the movie in a year and like you didn't have access back then necessarily to home media.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's why.
It was like, let's catch up.
Yeah, let's catch back up on the old planet over here with the apes.
Skip recap.
And so I will say before we get too far into this movie, I read a lot of the reviews before I watched this movie, and I know, Brock, you and I have talked. I don't know if I've said it on the show. I have probably watched all of the Planet of the Apes movies at some time or another, probably not in their completion. The only one I know is the first one.
Yeah. No, I got you.
So this was like almost not a first watch for me, but like
first time in a
long time, and who knows how much of it I watched the first time because those movies were on all the time, like back in the day on TBS and shit.
Yeah, I never really paid attention to them back when you're talking about. Yeah, I caught them later in life.
Right.
So keep going.
That's all.
Oh, that was it.
I don't know. Cut me off.
I know.
No,
Shit,
it's all
I'm
good,
sorry.
dude. It's all good.
Train of thought derailed.
Right.
Because I was like, ooh, let me say something.
No, you're good, brother.
Dummy. No, yeah, I didn't catch up to these until 97, 98, somewhere around there.
Well, one of the things I noticed when I was reading the reviews of this movie specifically, right? I watched it through all the way once, and then I read the reviews, and then I watched it again because I feel like that's the fair thing to do to a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're going to review it.
Yeah. And I think that all of them are wrong. Like, people either really love it or they really hate it. And it has like a 36% thing on the tomatoes, and like there's a lot of like lower ratings for it on some of those things, right?
The aggregators.
Yes.
Yes. That's kind of weird because it is a good movie. It was a
it
well
is a good
done
movie. It's different than the first one. It's faster. It's got more action. The point. One of the things in the first movie, it was a long way to get you to the point.
Yes.
Where you really understood what was going on, right?
Yeah.
You're coming into this one. It's a continuation of the last one. You already know.
Yeah. You're not going to get that moment where you're like, wah, 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 wah.
Well, you do get a little bit of some new character building, world building rather.
Yes.
But it's not in the same. It's not led up to like that. I don't think it's not as long of a build up.
No. You're exactly right. It kind of gets into it because they've already established the origin of the whole thing anyway.
Right.
So, but his reactions are Franciscus's. His reactions as the coming into this in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw humans first, but he was brought into the ape world to look at it and be like, "What the fuck?"
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. and I mean, his journey is pretty fast, not like Taylor's. Taylor's was the whole movie,
right?
To get to where he was.
But I don't think you make that movie again.
You don't have to.
I don't think you should.
Yeah, and that's why this as a sequel is a very, very good tie-in, but not really detractor from the first one.
Sure.
It's cool. They could both exist, and that could be the only Planet of the Apes they ever did.
Well, as we talked about, I don't know, and just so you guys know who are listening, I don't even know what ape movies are next. I've never seen any of them. I don't know anything about them. So I'm interested to see, after watching this movie, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit, how the hell they make it number 3. Because
it's one of the most interesting franchises in the history of movies.
It's going to be timey-wimey.
Yes, the way that it moves.
Bitch.
But it's a theme that has continued since then. But even in the beginning, one of the writers of this movie, he created this time travel show where these astronauts were in space.
Was it Sliders?
No. Indy.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to break your train of thought. My bad.
But okay. Let me compose. The way that there was a show in the early 50s about astronauts in the year 3000.
Okay.
That were lost in space, kind of, right? So one of the writers and shit like that from back then kind of mixed with these movies too, so you could see the influence.
Okay.
And which is really cool because they kept the same thing. It's like they went through the same fucking exact trajectory,
right,
that the first one went through, but yet it slipped into the time stream a little bit before, I think. It's weird. It's weird because we'll talk about that too. The way that their clocks were different and shit, but it's like it's really cool. It's like they sent them like 5 years afterwards.
Right.
They're like, hey, go after them. They didn't call us back. So they send out the fucking other spaceship. It's exactly the same.
That has 2 people on it?
Yeah, and does the same fucking thing too. They crash land, but they crash land on the land and shit.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, that introduction was really fast.
Yeah.
You don't really get to know him that much, but you do get to see Taylor kind of get wrapped up a little bit more.
This is why I like the second one. And I know we'll go through plot, whatever, and all the other things, but since we're just discussing it, there were times in the original where they're walking in the desert, through the desert.
Yeah.
And this movie is a welcome in to that desert walking scene, because this movie moves so much faster. You know what I mean? So it's a good balance with the other one, because the other one's very much more impactful. It's a more
it's the
internal. Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's like that lead into the reveal.
Right. So you can't make that movie again. You make this movie, which is a different kind of movie, more of an action movie, really.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, this is what I was thinking about yesterday. It was all the Western actors.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a sci-fi Western actor movie.
Yeah.
In a weird way, because all of the people involved in this were involved in like rawhide and have gun will travel, all kinds of shit like that, right? So
get them up, rope them up.
Yeah, they're fucking what do you call it? Not lineage, but just their primers was working on that shit. And they get to this, and you have like this incredible scene where the apes are training.
Yeah,
that's fucking cool as shit, man.
Except for the part where they're doing calisthenics. I'm like,
I know. It's cheesy, and you look at it.
The rest of it was fine. It's just the part where they're like moving their arms and calisthenics, and
then there's the boulder toss.
I enjoyed that actually.
Take them down on the horse. The nets.
Yeah,
they were like throwing fucking like.
They're mean to horses though.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
they're like these. We're just practicing on knocking these horses down to the ground.
Yes, but it was so cool that somebody got together with all these other people and said, "Hey, you're gonna do jumping jacks. You're gonna jump off of this deal. Oh, hey, Cody, I remember you from Rawhide. Would you jump on top of this thing? Can we have like a horse runaway?" And that's what they do.
Well, yeah, and you think like it's like some of the stuff they were doing was on horseback, so
yeah,
perfect people to have involved, right?
Exactly, right. I mean, and just even the way that the stunts were done too, with whenever he was escaping, and that gorilla was kicking the shit out of him, I was thinking, that gorilla would have fucking wiped the floor with that dude. They're throwing boulders, but yet he's barely got him, not even ripping off his arm, right? He's got him by the arm, and then the one tree in 2-mile radius is like hanging over, and he's like, gets hit with the branch. You're like, yes, they got away. But then he has to grab the reins too, right? So it's... But it was really, I mean, the whole narrative of the whole story was really cool to continue, but also at the same time end whatever timeline that is. It should have been it.
Right. That's all I know. These are these two movies, so don't tell me anything afterwards.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay, because that's coming up, I'm sure, on a future episode.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's the next one. Escape.
As Brock drags me through, brings me along on a journey through.
Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Is that the next one?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. Well, let's, I love this movie. I always have. I don't know. It's just, I've always thought of it as a worthy sequel. Like Empire. Things like that.
I'm not going to put it on Empire's level by any means.
No, as far as like worthiness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell that this one does suffer from them getting their budget like cut in half, kind of at the last minute.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every single one of the Apes movies, their budget got slashed.
Right.
So they would have like $12 million on the first one, $6 million on this one. The next one they would have fucking $3 million, and they would keep going down.
I would have cut the ape sauna scene.
It's almost like Jaws. Yeah. It's like, how can we save money?
It's like Jaws 2.
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck is this?
I will say this, this has a lot of good metaphors, analogies for things going on like in society, politically, especially in 1970. But some of it's done well, I guess, and some of it's like not. Some of it you're like... Well, why is that just shoehorned in there that way?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It was,
if you're not going to explore it more.
What is the meaning of this?
This movie's only an hour and 35 minutes. You could have filled out another 20 minutes. People would have been happy.
You can kind of tie that whole scene to Zira standing up to General Ursus and Zaius at the very beginning, and then coming back and talking to Cornelius.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not going to do it for my principles, but the chimpanzees, they are already like dissent. They're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right.
We need to no more lies.
It was kind of
no war.
Yeah, it's kind of very much like what was going on with the Vietnam War going on. Like I think Nixon. Didn't you say?
But then
whatever you were telling me earlier.
No. The Democratic National Convention.
Democratic National Convention. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit. They even filmed it in that. I hate to say this, guerrilla style. but see, the chimpanzees weren't the ones going off to war.
Right.
the fucking gorillas were.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, they get fucking.
But they just didn't agree with it. They're like, we don't like you to kill people.
Yeah. Why do you got to go kill?
Yeah, there's different ways to handle this.
Yeah, and you have the boisterous leader,
right,
and you have the deep state dude that's like, fuck off. And where the worst thing in the world is knowledge.
Right.
But I want to know everything.
So, like, this is just me because, again, I haven't seen any more movies. Like, what I feel like would happen, I don't know if it does in these movies, but would happen in this society is that eventually chimpanzees, who are all scientists and engineers, are going to inherit the earth because of technology. Like, hey, now I got a ray that just makes you go away.
Yeah.
Whatever,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
You would think, yeah. They have everything there for it.
Right.
Except for, the world was destroyed. God knows what year. They never really say it.
And what year do they say it is? It's like 3,995. That's a wrong number, but it's close.
Yes. No. Yeah, but I think you're right. Hold on. This one is really cool to really kind of.
Because when he crashes in there, I don't know that we talked about, like, while you're looking that up.
Yeah, no.
I may have jumped the shark right there.
No. What he says is the ship clock that he checked, the last reader on it was 3955, so 3955, right? So
yeah.
in Planet of the Apes, the one that Taylor read was 11/25/3978. So that basically is kind of weird in the time-sphere type of a deal. You know what I mean? How did he wind up in the same deal if he was 22 years late?
Right.
You know what I mean? But yet he was 22 years early. So, but
yeah.
And then in the next one they do mention
that the time anomaly could be,
yeah,
connected to just that spot or whatever.
So you can explain that away.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that was the one that I was like, so if you got to think, it's almost a year fucking 4,000.
Yeah.
Damn. So everything that was decayed probably would have been disappeared by then. I don't know if there would have been.
There was some of the stone. Yeah, I think there would be for sure.
For the biggest buildings,
you think
maybe?
like the pyramids are still around, dude?
Yeah. But those are maintained in a way, right?
They weren't for thousands of years.
Yeah, that's right.
Till
somebody was like, "Whoops, I tripped over something. What the fuck is this?"
It's that damned old Sphinx again.
Ah, god damn it! It was a Sphinx.
I'm gonna tell you a riddle. Fuck off.
Damn it.
It's not again. Come on, Sphinx. I gotta get to school.
Gotta go over the Ganges.
This week on Mama Tut.
Mama Tut. Oh man, that would be a fucking awesome show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get at me.
But that's like
Drop Culture podcast.
But it's
copyright.
4,000 years into the future or 2,000 years into the future at that point. Because when did they leave? They left in the 70s.
Yeah.
They were still like 70s people.
Yeah. They sure were.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like they were probably from 76 or 77,
Yeah.
After we landed on the moon, obviously, at that point. So, but the science fiction nature of the whole thing, science fiction didn't really... They had, of course, 2001, which most people at the time were like, "Oh, you got to go see this tripping," you know what I mean? So it was already regarded as a beautiful movie, right? But this one has this science fiction, but the science fiction is actually made well. It's not a cheesy science fiction movie like one of Vincent Price's or something like that, or a Peter Cushing science fiction movie.
Right. Harvey Korman.
Yeah. Doctor Who and the Daleks, something weird like that, right? Yeah. But it was done really well, really nice budget. And then they come into this one and they're like, "Oh, okay, now you get the Peter Cushing budget."
Right.
Shit.
What?
Yeah. Come on, man. But the actors they chose were perfect for it. Maurice Evans being in it again, the principals, in this one were pretty cool, but having the introduction of the humans actually living, which is really awesome,
Absolutely.
But Maurice Evans was in another one of my favorite movies of all time. We'll talk about that when we go through all these people.
Are we going to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Let's talk about... Had a $2.5 million budget.
Damn.
And it's... In box office made $19 million.
They made enough to make all the rest of them.
Yep.
and their Mego toys.
That's right.
But they were like, no, we're gonna make more money off this shit. They ain't. Well, the director I thought was really cool. Ted Post. And the thing is you know this dude. You really do, because you've seen pretty much every one of his movies.
That's right.
Magnum Force. Come on, it was after this. Hang 'em High in '68. Shit. He did Good Guys Wear Black, which I think was one of Chuck Norris's breakthrough, like, I'm going to fucking be a movie star moments.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Which is kind of crazy. He was at the forefront of all of those cop shows, too, which that's what everybody has in common on this whole cast list, except for Roddy McDowall.
Right.
Everybody has some sort of rawhide, Western television series kind of history.
Yeah.
And then you even got fucking...
Minimal Fall Guy credits, however.
Yeah, minimal. There's some Murder, She Wrote and shit. There are. There's a lot of good ones. But yes, not a lot of Fall Guy credits. But it's really cool that he was kind of at the forefront of all of that. And one of those TV shows that I was talking about, he was doing shit, because this dude was doing shit from the 50s all the way to the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, he produced and then he wrote a lot of shit.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And then the writers being a little bit... This is where the connective stuff really kind of comes through from their past. Because, one of these writers actually, God dang, won an Oscar in 1950.
Yeah.
For his very first screenplay.
How
So,
crazy is
you
that?
got talent, But he also wrote Goldfinger. His name is Paul Den. He did all the rest of the Apes movies. Wrote all of those. Goldfinger, Murder on the Orient Express, and then you have writer Mort Abrams. That name is just so fucking familiar. It's like this is a Mort Abrams production. You know what I mean?
Right. He's the one that came up with a key part later on in the movie. I don't know if I should say it now because I don't want to spoil till we get there, but the defenses of the humans.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this went through, like, even James Franciscus. He wrote a couple.
Didn't Serling write one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
In the original, the actual original screenplay was supposed to be like Planet of the Men, written by Peter Boulez.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be reverse.
Right.
Like Taylor was going to be some messianic character, right? Come back, and he was going to lead the humans against the apes. And then win, and they regress.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And
so he was Neo.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Early Neo, before Neo.
Yeah.
Pre-Neo.
Yeah, and like Neo.
Yeah.
Nega Neo. But
it's the new Neo.
Which I thought was really cool and would have been a really awesome idea.
Sure.
To really kind of explore that. But yet they were like, hey, this is safe. This made us a lot of money last time. Great. Let's do this.
We did just fine.
And most of these guys that direct, the director, the writers, they were all involved in Mannix, fucking Beretta.
Yeah.
Every fucking heavy balls. Fucking,
80s.
Yeah.
Police show. My
description of Ted Post, the director, this dude has a huge set of balls, and he was always overcompensating for something. So he either has a big set of balls, or he's overcompensating.
Yeah. Could be both.
He might be.
I'm sorry.
But the original author gives you a screenplay and says, "Yo, here you go." They're like, we don't like it.
Yeah. That doesn't really work for us.
Yeah. Huh? No way. That's stupid. But let's get on to the cast. We're not gonna really touch on Heston because we did in the last one.
Because we don't have to. Moses, go.
Yeah. So we got James Franciscus, which I've said quite a bit so far.
Absolutely.
He was Brent. He's the new astronaut. They really chose him because he looked very close to Charlton Heston, and I could see close, but not even like that close.
Nowhere near, yeah.
It's like me taking my glasses off. I'm like, which one? I can't tell the difference. But he was a good guy, I think, behind the scenes. He was a real big family man. He always went home on time in all of his contracts. Like, he would work that in to where he wouldn't work past like 5:36.
Really?
On everything that he did. And he's like, later, dudes.
I need that contract.
He would go home and fucking have dinner.
There you go.
Yeah, so he was a good dude, but then movies really didn't take off for him. Then he did a lot of TV. He was on the A-Team, everything like that.
Sure. I could see that. No Fall Guy, though?
No, maybe. He was in that Chuck Norris movie with the director. Ted Post director.
Is it the Black?
Good Guys Wear Black.
Yeah,
he was in that.
That was kind of Chuck Norris's big forefront, right?
That was that change for him.
Yeah.
I was reading about that movie, and it said that was the movie he really did. He looked at his whole career because he was setting up another kind of a gym, and they came to him with the part, and they thought, yeah, I'll do this.
Right.
Look where he is now.
There you go.
Walker, Texas Ranger. But he was also in Cat o' Nine Tails.
Okay.
Which I watched that one not too long ago, and I did notice him. I was like, oh, shit. That's
that guy.
But it's a Gaio movie, so it's an Italian horror movie.
Okay.
Which was kind of unusual to see him in that. And then when I saw this again, I was like, there he is.
It's like when you see the guy from the Gladiator boxing movie in a movie, you're like,
yes.
Oh, it's that guy. Huh. You know, he was still doing stuff.
Brian, didn't he? He died on Tommy Boy, so.
Then we have Zira.
Zira?
Yeah.
Kim Hunter?
Yeah, so almost an EGOT winner. So she was in Tennessee Williams, A Streetcar Named Desire, the original production. But then also won an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for the Best Supporting Actress for the, when they did the film adaptation in 51. And then she got a Daytime Emmy for something in some soap opera called The Edge of the Night no one's ever heard of. But what?
Yeah, right.
She got ego. I mean, she ain't got the...
She's got ego.
She got ego all day.
What did she needed a Tony Award?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Now, and the thing is like Kim Hunter, for some reason, is so totally familiar to me too, just like James Franciscus. But they were doing shit back in the early 50s,
right?
Which one television show that they were on, I guess it was an anthology show too, kind of like and it was a pre-cop one. It was called Naked City. Both of them were on like an episode of that.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah. I saw a lot of Naked City.
Yeah,
conversation credits. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Had to look at that
because there was a half-hour show, but I think there was also a different show. Like it was, you know what I mean? Like there was a regular show, and then there's some half-hour show that featured some other character. I don't know.
Yeah, it was the weird ones, like the live Twilight Zones.
Yeah.
Huh? They're doing this live?
It's like the live Facts of Life.
They were all live.
No, I mean the ones that were live broadcast live like a few years ago. What just happened?
Noises.
Broken down palace.
No.
Who's next on the list?
Linda Harrison.
Linda Harrison.
She is the living embodiment of a Barbie doll. I mean, if you look at her, she looks like she has those legs and arms that go that are clickable. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Her body shape is like that.
So, yeah. She's also married to producer Richard Zanuck.
Yeah.
Jaws, Cocoon, Driving Miss Daisy, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and her youngest son is Dean. And he's done Road to Perdition, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as well.
Yeah, Richard Zanuck was head of the studio at that time.
So, I like to say Zanuck.
Zanuck.
Just makes me feel happy inside when I say it like that.
Didn't he?
So I choose that, just like I choose Ben Affleck.
He might have greenlit Star Wars. I don't remember, but I don't know. But yeah, she really didn't do a lot. It was the nepotism that got her the rest of the jobs.
Yeah, and she looked good. For, 1970, she was rocking it.
Right. I mean, Taylor Comes Down from nowhere and gets the hottest chick on the planet.
It is Charlton Heston.
Yeah, I know. It's
He can part seas.
His animal magnetism was so far away, and it reaches no bounds that it picked her up.
That's right. That's right.
Like 300 miles away.
That's why the rockets didn't land next to each other.
Right. She was almost going to be in Jaws, though.
Yeah. I saw
She
that.
was going to be Sheriff Brody's wife, Roy Scheider, which that's pretty cool to really kind of think a Planet of the Apes alumni.
With no speaking part. Well, one speaking part.
Yeah, you can tell they haven't used their vocal cords.
I had to stop it and move it back. I'm like, what did she say? Which, is fact. I'm sure that's how it would be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they paid attention to that shit. That's why this kind of led to shows like Omega Men.
Sure.
I mean, you could really, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. We saw Planet of the Apes. But
2, The Electric Boogaloo.
Yes. And then you got Maurice Evans. Maurice Evans was a fucking badass. He was in, he was a big time stage dude, of course, right? Like everybody was, vaudevillian, whatever.
Whatever.
And
he was a British man.
He was on Rosemary's Baby. And every time I watch that movie now, I'm like, holy shit. Oh, there he is.
That's him right there.
I'm like, that's Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas. Oh, Dr. Zayas.
You know where I recognize him from? Bewitched.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, who was he? Oh,
yep.
yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Because you always remember him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. God, he was in the military. He was a major in the Army, but he was part of the Army entertainment section in the Central Pacific Theater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was also on The Jerk too. He basically started in 1926.
Yeah.
Then we got Cornelius, which, of course, was played by David Watson this time. Hardly has shit for credits.
Right.
Didn't really do a lot. Sounded a lot like Roddy McDowall, I guess, because Roddy McDowall was too busy filming his own movie, his very first movie that he was going to ever make. So he couldn't do this one, but he subsequently came back and he was everybody since then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But which is it's kind of crazy, It's almost like Back to the Future 2. Oh damn! You know how they replaced the guy, Crispin Glover. They replaced Crispin Glover with some lookalike. It was the fucking Planet of the Apes still. It was the same fucking thing. It was just some dude that you don't know and you never will see again. But yet he's there, and they put him in a weird spot. Like, I don't recognize him. But he had stage-like looks, too. Whenever he's talking about hitting Zira, and he looks at her and kind of gives her the fucking Broadway look, like, hear what I said?
What you have to do about it?
It was the Broadway look. Empathy.
An actor.
And then we come to the humans. Like Fat Man. The dude's
Fat
name
Man is a little boy.
He's named Fat Man.
Yeah.
God, how degrading.
Oh, it gets worse.
Yeah. He was King Tut, because I always remembered him from Batman. That's where I remember. Batman 66.
Yeah.
Because he was just kind of like overboard. He seemed like the 60s dude that you'd invite to a party in a clown outfit. He was just kind of fucking weird.
I think he was the 60s version of, like, let's invite my brown-skinned friend.
Yeah. Yes. And then he was on Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Okay,
Which is great. He does a really good job in that one. And then Ford for Texas, which...
I don't know that I know what that is.
It's a Rat Pack movie.
Okay.
And the Rat Pack movies, like, they were cool for Ocean's 11.
Right.
That was it.
Sure.
Don't do the rest of them. Don't do Robin and his 4 hoods or some shit. Robin Hoods. Whatever.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Different episode, rather.
He kind of got fucked over in his career, too, because he was always that loud, boisterous, but he was a very, very good actor.
Right.
So he always got pigeonholed into that shit, and he was a big dude.
Yeah.
I think he weighed over 260, 280,
wow.
something like that. But he was like 6'4", too.
Yeah.
Shit, he was a huge guy.
What's the next person on the list?
James Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
who did he play?
Ursus, General Ursus. Now, General Ursus is the main kind of like crazy dude.
Yeah,
He's
he's a military zealot. Yeah.
Let's put our feet upon it. But him, the character or the actor, James Gregory, he was in one of my favorite movies, The Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah.
And him being the senator in that with Angela Lansbury's husband and shit, she's trying to get him elected.
Right.
So they have a plant in there. I always remember him from that, and every time I hear this voice, I just think about that. And I think about his voice being on so many other things, him being on Twilight Zone and all kinds of shit like that.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, I know that fucking dude.
Right on.
It's a cool, boisterous. Ooh.
How was that again?
Ooh.
Fair.
He does. Yeah. That's what my fucking notes say.
Yeah.
Too much to unpack. After The Manchurian Candidate. Save that one for another episode.
There you go.
Yeah. Then we have Caspa. He's Jeff Corey. Yeah. Murphy Brown, he was on there. Mm-hmm. Fist of the North Star, he was a narrator.
Okay. The anime?
Yeah, for the English version.
Yeah.
He was the...
I owned that on VHS way back in the day.
Yeah, he was a head wizard in Conan the Destroyer.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of sci-fi, a lot of fantasy work.
Gotcha.
So, and I always forget who he is in this shit. He's one of the... I think he led Brent into the fucking gallery.
Okay.
Where they could all assault him.
Yeah. With their minds.
Yes. And then you got Natalie Trundy. This is her first appearance in the movies, but she is in every other movie past this too.
Oh, okay.
She kind of almost fills in what Zira's role was.
Okay.
In the franchise.
Okay.
She's the love interest.
I see.
So, which is pretty cool. But I'm not going to tell you about the next one. Yeah. But yeah, she went to school at one point. She was in college after she had a pretty good career going. She planned on going back, but she got hit by a fucking car.
What?
Yeah, she got hit by a car, fucked up her chances of ever coming back. But yeah, she did a lot of charity work and different things like that afterwards.
Sure.
She couldn't
That's
fucking
crazy.
act anymore. Yeah. After all the Apes movies. I'm like, fuck.
This is all you get.
Yeah. Her character was Albina. See what they did there?
Yeah.
Now, I did not know this. This guy, Thomas Gomez, he was a real Mexican dude. Back in the fucking day, man.
Yeah, that's
on the screen.
1970, yeah, I could see. That's like the turn of the... Yeah.
But he was in movies all the way back into... Because he was on Key Largo with Bogey and Bacall.
Okay, yeah.
So... He had been acting for a long time, but yet this dude was he was a big guy too. I think he was 6'5", really big, heavy set, but boisterous. He wasn't the dude that was we don't need no stinking badges. Right. But yet you're like, damn, there's a real Mexican dude. You don't see that shit. Or even in California when they made that shit.
Right.
So yeah, I need to make a shrine to him.
It was years later before they would make the Indian tear cry commercial.
Oh.
PSA. And that's still, I'm just saying.
That was a conversation of contention.
Yes.
Now here we go. Here is a connection to one of our previous movies that we've done, Don Pedro Colley.
Yeah, okay. His
name is really Onogoro, but I'm not going to say what it is. I guess you got to watch it. Can we say it?
Yeah.
You say it.
You say it. I don't fucking know what you're talking about.
His name.
What? Oh no, you gotta say that. That's I thought that was the one you're gonna do when I said, "What's the next guy's name?"
No.
But he is listed as the Negro.
Yes.
Yes. What was his name? I don't remember the actor.
Don Pedro.
Don Pedro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He was on THX 1138.
Yeah.
And I put THX 1138, bitch. He was on a lot of black exploitation.
Yeah. Rudy Ray Moore stuff, or
He did Sugar Hill, Black Caesar. I don't think he did anything else. Yeah, or any of his like Petey Wheatstraw or nothing.
Right.
But then you got Todd Andrews. He was
Todd Andrews.
Yeah, I think he was the dude that was dying. He was Skipper.
Oh yeah.
He did a lot of shit in the 40s through the 70s. So he was on Hang 'em High, and then maybe TV and movies mainly in like the 40s. I think that's where his big career was.
Right.
Then we got Gregory Sierra. He was Verger. He was the oldest preacher in John Carpenter's Vampires.
Okay.
So a connection to Carpenter. And then you also had the Lucius flashback scene from the earlier one, the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same dude, of course, because it was flashback. But that's pretty much all the principles.
Yeah. And this movie starts out just like the last movie ended, for real. That's how it starts out for 10 minutes.
Taylor's kissing a monkey. He's kissing Zira.
Yeah.
And, he kind of lays a wet one on her. I don't know if he fucking put some tongue in that shit. But he might have. Knowing Charlton Heston. He's like, I want to clean your teeth.
I'm going to part your jaw like the Red Sea.
But I think there was even a scene that they were going to throw out in this movie, too, where it was going to be a half human, half ape baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad they didn't do that, because it would have been like
cool.
It's like a Zack Snyder fucking zombie baby shit.
Yeah,
Stop it, dude.
Looks like the goo monster that turns into...
Yes. Stop, man. Nobody wants to see a baby zombie. It's not fucking scary. It's gross. But no. Yeah, it starts off in the same situation. So they give you the recap. They leave off a whole bunch of irrelevant things in the monologues and everything. Yeah. And then they get to the Statue of Liberty, which was the impetus of this movie anyway.
Right.
Because of the way that Planet ended, they thought, oh, holy shit. Fucking we can begin it right here.
Right.
So you keep going. And Heston was like, I don't do sequels. He was like Johnny Depp in that shit back in the day. And which was smart. He's like, we already explored this character. We already did it.
Right.
What else are we going to do? Why should we anything,
Well, especially as much writing that it took place in different writers to get to what they have now. I can imagine that, like, you would have to have a compelling offer for someone of Charlton Heston's prestige.
Yeah, even at that point.
A sequel, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, especially at that point.
Fucking Moses Academy Award winner?
Yeah.
God, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Played your Bible.
Yeah, no shit. He was everybody.
Well.
Let my people go. No. What they left off was a couple of little Zaius, chiming in, him kind of explaining some more shit. So we know everything. We get caught up. We see the fucking you maniacs. Yeah. But it's him and Nova. Because where are they going to go? I would have found a fucking cave.
Yeah.
I lived by the beach my whole life.
Yeah,
you know
kind of what they do, right?
Later. Maybe.
Later.
Yeah. It
doesn't work out so safely.
No, but it was a really good transition into the forbidden zone.
Yes, the forbidden zone.
Don't go into the forbidden zone.
Fire, lightning.
You might not like what you find.
The lightning special effects were definitely 1970 lightning special effects. I don't know what that was by standard to another 1970 movie, but I was like, oh.
Rotoscoping's good. That's fucking dope. No, but they get over there and he's trying to talk to Nova. Mm-hmm. He kind of tells her Nova. He's kind of like
she comes riding up on a horse.
Yeah.
While he's like looking for medicine or something.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, they go out into the deal, and then all of a sudden, because he gives her his medals, and he's a smart ass about it. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh well, top of the class. Here you go. You're the smartest person I know. And he's inner monologuing on the outside of his body.
Yeah.
And then so they get to that one point where the fire shows up, or the cliff shows up, because they look one way, they turn back around, and he's like, she sees it too. So he's kind of like narrating her, which is cool.
Right.
But then we get that weird, like, he's like, I'm gonna hit this with my gun. Whoa!
And he just like falls through.
Where does he go though? We don't get to see that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And that was Heston's idea.
There would be no reason for us to worry about it if he hadn't done that.
Yeah, Heston basically like shoots himself out at the very beginning of the movie and shows up at the end.
Well, I guess the original thing was he was like, I'm not going to do it, and then he was like, well, I'll come in and I'll be in the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you got to get everything
done.
And
then Heston actually was the one that was like came up with the ending.
Yes.
And was like, okay, that's how we'll do it. We won't be in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't need to keep this up. So he was kind of on it, but some people made some money.
People made money always, yeah.
But yeah, that's when we get the introduction of Brent and Skipper.
Mm-hmm.
And, Skipper's dying just like we would.
Yeah.
Crash landing. Somebody
had to die.
Yeah, they had to
Brent.
Yes. He was the big one. But so...
Makes sense that he's more durable.
Yeah, and they must have been there for a little while.
Well, yeah, he dragged him out and had him on a little pillow, and there was...
But that's weird. Did they land at the same time that the other ones did? Think about that.
No, it's too far.
How long did it take Nova to get to them?
It was like a week
later,
I think, or 2 weeks later.
Because they look like they've been out there for a year.
Yeah,
Lord of the Flies and
maybe
shit.
it was a year. I don't know.
I don't know. And Nova's just wandering around.
I don't think they look like they've been out there. Brent and them?
Yeah.
They didn't look like they'd been there for a year.
No. They look grungy.
Yeah,
they looked like they had been there for a little while.
They went through a wreck.
Yeah.
I think that maybe they'd been there at the most a few weeks.
You think so?
That's most.
Because Taylor was in... He didn't heal in 3 days, when he got shot in the throat. So he was in there for a while.
Speaking of which, when we talked about Brent, that he's a badass.
Oh, yeah. Fucking, he's like G.I. Joe wrapped up into fucking Optimus Prime.
He Nicolas Cage's it in Con Air in this movie once.
Yeah. Well, Nova stumbles upon him after she disappears and
Taylor
screams.
disappears, yeah, and then she's like, we don't hear any more out of that, right? Not until later is explained.
Yeah, they show Skipper dying, him getting buried and shit, and Brent's like, I don't know what the fuck to do now. Who the fuck are you? Cool. So he
good timing for old Brent. Just about the time he got everything wrapped up, here comes this hot girl on a horse.
On a fucking horse.
And every man's dream in the 70s, she can't talk.
Exactly. Which you already know what happened to Heston, so you're like, oh, I get it. And then so Brent's like, oh, I see your dog tags match mine. Take me to him. And then she ends up taking him to Ape City. Yeah. Which he gets the introduction, which we don't have that big reveal where they're getting chased or some shit like that. They actually sneak in very easily. Yeah. Sneaking away for them, not too fucking easy at all. Yeah. No, every time they escape, they get busted. But
break in just fine.
Yeah. Breaking out was the problem. No, she ends up taking him to Zira's place. Yeah. Because he got shot. Because some gorilla was out there in the woods.
That's when he Con Airs it. He gets shot. He doesn't make a sound.
He's like,
he doesn't do anything. He just flexes a little bit.
Yeah, it's those tennis elbows. So
that's how bad you are when your visage is just this close to Chuck Norris's.
Yes. Thanks, James. But yeah, so he's bleeding. He's watching the fucking apes really literally go ape shit because they have some new general that's like hyping them up. Is they're having this big kind of like rally, I guess. Yeah. But it's everybody. The orangutans, the chimpanzees.
Yeah, the general wants to make Ape City great again.
Yes.
They're all wearing red MAGA hats. It's weird.
It's almost right there. Not really. Come on, man. You gotta
I'm not saying it's not close, but that's close to a lot of things throughout history.
Yes. Too. It's the dictatorship.
You can tie that to any,
He's like, we need to put our feet up on it. What is there out there that we don't need to conquer? Everything,
That's right. We
need to fucking rule this planet. Because really, in the thousands of years that they've lived there as an ape, they have never ventured 3 blocks away.
Well, and he mentions that they're facing famine based on their population, which makes no sense to me, being the amount of green that was around there.
Yeah. Well, I guess Ape City had to It was way bigger.
Yeah. Ape City, bitch. Ape City, bitch.
But that's when we
in
get
the
to
sauna
see.
with all up in my titty, bitch. Sorry.
I mean, we meet the new Cornelius and everything afterwards, and Zero's like, I'm not gonna stand because of my principles.
Right.
She's there.
Right? He's like, stand up, please.
Stand up. No, I will if it's for my principles. I was like, okay, fucking, I don't give a shit. They're gonna fucking kill you, even though law number 1 is ape shall not kill ape.
That's right.
They were gonna hang Cornelius and Zira in the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think no. Liars, hypocrites.
Yeah, maybe that's why that vision saw the ape god crying blood.
Yes, that rules too. But yeah, she fixes him up and is like, "Hey, you can't be here.
Get the fuck out."
Yeah, he's like,
she gives him some different clothes.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know what the fuck is going on. Who are you?" They're like, "You talk to?" "Yes, I'm looking for Taylor." "Oh shit,
Taylor,
have you seen him?
Buddy? You got a map?"
Yeah. And the map is like,
everybody's like, "Yeah, let me get you stuff now."
Yeah,
you know
here,
Taylor.
Yeah, let me clean you up. Here's a map. I'll tell you where you are. It says you are here.
Those are the best maps.
Yes. But when they're, because she asked him too, she's like, "Hey, do you have a horse?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got a couple of scrubs, or I got a scrub."
Yeah.
And I was like, he don't want no scrub. So she ends up giving him, or outfitting him with what they need, right?
Right.
So then they're riding away, and of course they go, and one gorilla's just like staring at them while they're running across a big giant field with his mouth all wide open, like, "Huh? Hello?" Huh, that's weird. Better call this in. You know, he's like a fucking stormtrooper.
What is Zira's husband's name or whatever?
Cornelius.
I love his walk when he goes to get the door.
Yes.
It's the best.
It's the bounce.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
almost like the George Jefferson without so much swing.
Yes. It's like a chimpanzee bounce walk, but most chimpanzees don't bounce when they walk. Walk normal.
Anyways, that was a joy for me.
Yes. Which we get to see. Zayas is like trying to suppress information again.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the...
he's like, I'm going out to war with these jackasses.
He's like, you know, what they don't know won't hurt them.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest enemy we have is knowledge.
Yeah.
I think that's what he says.
Something.
Yeah, it was like knowledge.
Fear itself.
Yeah. Well, and they're steam bathing it as gorillas.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I know, that's the worst scene. That was the sauna scene.
There's so much hair in that.
Yeah.
So much hair.
Who cleans that shit up?
So much
You
wet,
know it's a chimp.
so much wet chimpanzee and gorilla hair.
Ugh.
You know, they're not even as advanced as people are that have underwear. You know they don't have underwear?
Nope.
You know it's stinky?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's a sweaty mess down there because they're wearing clothes. But they haven't evolved enough to be like, well, I'm going to start wearing some jockeys. Never thought of the need of it, but they wear fucking leather pants and shit with fur all over them in California.
Technically, like in New York.
Yeah,
though,
New York.
right?
Yeah.
Sucks for those actors, though.
Yes. But yeah, no, so they're getting away, they think. They get busted again.
Yeah.
God dang. And they get brought back into the jail, right? And Sarah's like, "Oh, hey, and unusual craniums. Been a while." And then Ursus is in there. Is like, "Nope."
Yeah, because she's going to try to take them for research, but really she's just trying to save their asses.
Save them again. Because the one thing that Cornelius told Brent was, if you ever get caught, remember one thing, don't speak.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, what would I have to say to a monkey? And he's like,
that's racist.
yes. Thanks, dick.
Here I am trying to help you, and you're just being a big racist dick.
Next time you need a map, don't come to my house.
Tell your friend to quit trying to make it out with my wife, too.
Yes.
Fucking weird.
It's weird.
Cornelius out.
Speaking my mind. So yeah, they're going out again for target practice.
Yeah.
This is kind of where the Old West stunts come in
Yeah.
because this is the gorilla training scene. They take them out to get wrangled.
Yeah. Let's go wrangle up some humans. They could. It's a good 75% chance they'll die today.
They're like army tackling them and like fucking football tackling them on the top of their horses.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah, like taking down horses and stuff. What?
Yes, it's like, okay, you're next. So they're just grabbing random humans.
They just
they throw.
That's
boulders.
my favorite thing.
Yeah, they're
the boulder
stabbing
throw's
shit.
pretty good too.
The boulder throw. They got cannons.
Yeah,
but yet they still haven't invented underwear. You know they haven't.
They don't even really have a sewer system. I don't know.
Yeah,
that. I don't know that. I mean, they have a steam room, so maybe whatever.
Maybe it was Greek style. I don't know.
I don't either.
Heated floors and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, but
just a giant monkey under there farting. Who knows?
Flintstone shit. Oh.
That's where Kong's at.
Yeah.
It's the best place.
Very relieving. Make a wish. So, of course, they're gonna die again, and they're gonna take them out to the shooting range. But this, they hop on, or they get into the cage, right? And Zira one more time, while they're standing in front of Thunderdome.
Yeah. She just unlocks the cage, gives him a little. Huh?
Yes.
Just a little nod.
It kind of blows him a kiss, like, "Oh, you gonna kiss me too?"
And he's like, anime.
But yeah, Thunderdome, they're fighting.
Yeah.
Which is I mean, monkeys and chimpanzees and everything don't just climb the walls and bang on shit, you know, whenever they're in a cage. But they made these humans do the same shit.
Yeah.
Like they were like, because they spend the night in the cages.
Yeah.
And then
some of them seem pretty wild, anyways, when they were putting them in there by their movements. Yeah. It was almost like they were like really hyped up meth addicts.
Feral.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So he eventually like starts to fight how can you not sneak up on a fucking gorilla that's driving horses? You know.
I
mean, he's like, "Hey, you want to fight?"
He's like gorilla senses.
And the gorilla's not ripping him apart.
No, which would.
Yes, he would rip his goddamn arms off.
Yeah,
and I mean, he's almost. He was about to do the coup de grace, right?
Right.
And then that tree from like in the only tree in a 2-mile radius. It's like, whoop, knocks him down, Willow style.
That's right.
And then
I'm so lucky because I'm the hero.
Yeah. So then they get the horses again, and then they start running. Don't they get busted again?
Yeah. Is this the part where the horse gets shot?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have to run.
Sniper.
Yeah. So then they have to run into the hills near the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah. And they find the cave, right?
Yeah. They just kind of duck into the cave with all of these fucking gorillas looking for them, and they hide in the only cave around probably. Yeah. And the one gorilla just looks down and is like, I don't want to climb down that. I
don't see him down there.
Yes.
Is that maybe a 6-foot hole?
No, they're good. I just want to go home.
Little do we know, we get to find the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes, they're the fucking subway. Which, okay, number one.
Okay.
Most everything in there was turned to stone, right?
Yeah. Like that's what was available to be seen.
Yes. Yeah. I could totally 100% see most of everything getting
that's what survived,
covered in, limestone and shit like that.
Right.
But no, it's like I could see plastic surviving, you know, but then they have the fucking phone booth, right? Mm-hmm. And it's got the little bitty you could still see that, so you got to make it out. He could have just scrubbed it off and be like,
right.
Then when he sees the Queensboro Plaza one, and he kind of wipes it off, like he's like, it's not real. No, and then he sees the fucking poster that should have disintegrated.
Yeah, right. Yes. After 2,000 years,
2,000 fucking years, it's gonna disintegrate. But then, they're like pretty much suffering because they're wanting to get out. They don't want to go venture any further.
Right.
And that's when we go back to Ape City and the riots happen.
Right.
They're going to the Forbidden Zone to conquer.
Yeah, they're going to go conquer some of their scouts disappeared and they haven't heard from them.
Yeah.
That went into the Forbidden Zone. And the ones that did come back came back mad or something, right? They were out of their minds.
Yeah, they were all messed up.
Yeah. So they're going in to see what's going on with the big general guy and like his forces, and then the head what's his Prime Minister of Science or whatever he is? Yeah.
Zaius. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Zaius is there to kind of probably stop everybody from going forward on certain shit, and he's like, nope. Because he's still trying
and
to...
yet he's the one that helps them go forward.
Right, right. He's the one that doesn't believe in that shit. I don't believe in that shit. Let's go. Yeah, so he's he's leading them all out there, right?
And then this is when we cut back to those guys going through the tunnels and hearing the
hum,
the awful hum, because I had it in my Bluetooth cranked all the way while I was watching
it. But they reused that set on a fucking shitload of things. It was on Conquest.
Oh, right.
But it was really cool that they did show it, and Brent's reaction to it wasn't as fucking flamboyant, I guess, as Taylor's.
Right.
You know, Taylor's like pounding the fucking sand and shit.
Right.
Like literally pounding sand because it's gone. But Brent's like, we're assholes.
Yeah, Brent's like, logic and lack
this
of
place.
or patriotism.
Fuck this shit. So he's already kind of like giving up on most shit, but yet he's still really optimistic. And they hear that hum, they go up to the deal, and both of them get into the tunnels, but yet they're on like Broadway and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's Radio City Music Hall that they go by. There's a half of a bus covered in rock.
Yeah.
How does that work? That
that
dog don't hunt. So they get really close. They get to a fountain or some shit, right? And Brent takes a drink. He's like, ugh, gross. And there's a church, you know? Yes. So they're like, well, Brent's like, I might go check that out. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden it starts peeing again. It's like, and he's like, oh, it's clean. Let's drink it. And then all of a sudden he starts fucking dunking her.
Yeah.
He's like holding Nova's head underneath the fucking water.
Yeah.
You know? They're like, he's saying, I will take my hands and I will drown her.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's like out of nowhere this happens.
Yeah. So he's like, he's backing up because he's in that mortal fear.
Yeah.
I'm so fearful of myself. You know what I mean? I can't even look at you. You know,
I will run to this other door.
And he goes through.
Stop.
And there's some dude praying to a giant freaking golden dildo.
Yes. Yes, the Alpha and Omega dildo.
Yes. Beginning and the end.
$19.99 at your local
what's fucking
adult novelty store.
Well, so we know it's a rocket of some kind.
Fact.
It's only got Alpha and Omega on it, but yet, you know, they had the nuclear destruction, must have wiped off, 50 feet of dirt above them. So it uncovered that shit so they could open the silo in the middle of New York.
Yes.
So where the fuck was that, right? Did they transport it with all the gears probably before? But yet...
Nobody knows.
Yeah, some dude's praying to it, right?
Yeah.
And he turns around, and then all of a sudden, he gets busted.
Right.
So they grab them both. She gets taken away again.
He's not really good hanging on to girls. Neither one of them, really.
No. I mean, they got the most gorgeous woman on the planet. And they're like, hey.
We assume.
Later.
Maybe.
You never know. There might be an ape out there. So
Taylor's got no interest in that. He wants an ape woman. A married ape woman.
She must be married. So they eventually bring him into the chambers. You know, it's kind of it's like an old set from Hello Dolly or some shit. You know, big old grand staircase on either side. It's like a public library and shit. And they start talking to him in his head, and he's like, "Huh? How are you making that sound without, opening your mouth?"
Yeah.
They're like, no, stupid. It's in your head. So I like how when they want to inflict pain on him, they kind of like look at him and make him contort.
Yes.
The way, because what are they doing to his mind to make you do that? What pain would cause your body to go into a jerk kind of a seizure? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you'd have to tack it from, all places or something.
But you can still stand.
Yeah. Weird.
Nah, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you would have peed yourself.
Something. Got done and thrown up.
Right?
But
yeah, he racks him with pain.
Yeah, and just keeps doing it.
Yeah,
he's like, we don't
believe what you're saying.
Yeah, you're lying.
I also don't understand why he just didn't tell them that they were attacking.
Yeah,
there was no reason for him not to tell them. As far as he knew at that point, they were just regular human people. With telepathic
something
powers.
Yeah, he's like, this is kind of weird. You're human. They look human.
They're wearing telekinetic, illusionary.
Yeah, they're white robes. They look all nice and clean and shit. You do get to see a little bitty scene in their view screen or whatnot of kids doing like a fucking holding hands across America and shit inside their cave. So there's a shitload of them there too.
Yeah. It's because they're all about the peace.
Yeah,
these weapons are not made for aggression. They're meant for peace.
For my God. So, he's just like, why are you fucking with me this whole time, you sons of bitches? But then they don't really realize that the apes are coming. Right. Brent, I don't really think realizes either.
He heard the whole damn thing.
He thought he got away. No. Because when did they come down the caves? Afterwards.
No.
Yeah. Right? Because Zaius and all of them came through the cave.
Well, then how did he know when he said they're marching this way? No, I think that he did.
Well, he knew that they were out there.
He heard the conversation saying they were going to...
Yeah, to the Forbidden Zone. Yes. Yeah. And they were...
So I would have said, well, really, these douchebags who are trying to kill me too...
are going to try to kill you.
They're going to try to kill you right now.
But see...
So now you got a little more time. Maybe nuclear option isn't the first option you're going to go with.
Scratch number one. Because for real, no, that does make sense because, before they got to that area too, they had to go through the fire. Yeah. And the lawgiver crying blood, the stigmata of the lawgiver, which was fucking crazy.
Ape crying, their god, basically.
Yeah. And Zaius is like, no.
Yeah, he just runs right through it after everybody else is freaking out. Which, I mean, as you would, if that's what you were seeing your people hung upside down, burning in flame, and then a statue of your god behind it.
Crying?
That cries blood. And then, even after that, after Zaius goes through it, it falls on him. Yes. You know what I mean? So you're like, disappears. Oh my God, now what? And if he wouldn't have spoke up, I'd have been like, I'm going to fuck out of here.
Well, see, Ursus is going to go first, right? Yeah. And then he's like, no, stand back. This is for, no. Yeah. But then whenever the thing, disappears, you see the General Ursus jaw drop. He's like, but it's like a makeup malfunction and it looks so fucking totally real. I'm like, oh, that looks good. but it's just because of course they're saying ape shall not kill ape because they were going to do this, but Brent telling them before that scene means that they probably put up that psychic barrier right there and made that happen because he told them that.
I mean, he could have told them 2 hours before that.
Yes.
Before he got all racked with pain. He could have been like, hey, here's what's going on. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah. Have you seen my friend?
Yes.
Or did she know Nova by then? Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Because
she tries to trick him. She's like, Nova. And he's like, who's that?
Yeah.
Is that a galaxy? I don't understand. Right. It's like, we know.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
He's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
All right, then. So good. If only this was a visual podcast, you could see these great impressions.
We're pretty good at them.
Yeah.
I swear to God, you just look like James Francisco there.
Oh, thank you. But you pulled off Heston at least twice today.
Yes. So. Nice. It's those big gums. He's got fucking teeth for days.
Yeah, almost as much as Ringwald.
It's a close.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good fight.
But I heard a legend.
Tooth off.
I heard a legend about Charlton Heston that one time he once smiled at the Oscars and every female actress's panties just fell off.
Oh, I'm sure that's true.
He smiled really big and it was like sploosh. It was like, holy shit. Did it rain?
How'd you do that?
But it was his smile.
Yeah.
So it was a hell of a legend. But okay, so this is when basically he's getting thrown into jail.
Yeah.
And Don Pedro's gonna kind of speed things up
by introducing.
But it's after they go to church.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because they split up Nova from him.
Yeah, and then they end up going to church for a while.
Yeah. I mean, they cause him to choke her again.
Yeah.
And she's like, huh.
Does she kiss it? Does he kiss her?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like weird.
Yeah.
She's like,
I can't look at you. You kissed my face.
And then she takes him away.
Yeah.
Or she gets taken away by one of those
Handmaids,
zapoids.
yeah.
Zapoids. Graboids.
Yeah. Graboids.
And so basically they're gonna kill each other because Don Pedro says we don't kill our enemies. We don't believe in violence. We make our enemies kill each other. And they both look at each other like, son of a bitch. They realize that shit. And so then they get into that very Western fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlton Heston throws in some judo moves.
Yeah, as you would.
At least what he thinks is judo. Ring gets thrown up against the wall. He's like, ah. I mean, and then Don Pedro's like, wait a minute. Let me throw you some fucking weapons, bitch.
Yep.
Throws in that fucking
Mistake
warhammer.
number 1.
Yes, the warhammer. and it's what's really cool is like Taylor tries to get out too.
Right.
You know, in a lot of movies they have that opportunity. You don't see anybody take advantage or even try.
Yeah.
And even him, he was like, nah, not gonna happen. He was like, ah, shit. So they're locked in this deal, and he's like, making them fight and shit.
Yeah.
And that's when the apes bust in. Boom. They're coming in.
Which is good timing to get him distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Because then...
Guess what? He comes in, he gets crushed. Because, I mean, everything's wearing out. Heston kicks him up against the wall and knocks a hole in it.
Yeah.
A cement wall.
Yeah.
They were superhuman at that point.
It's the yellow sun.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
It's the nuclear yellow sun from the 40th century.
Jor-El. Son of Zod.
Kneel before me.
No, so they end up killing him.
Yeah.
And then they're like, huh, what's all that shooting? That's weird. Let's go. And then they find Nova, right? Yeah. They kind of go through that whole rigmarole. But see, Brent got to see him kind of like get the bomb ready.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the people were like, hey, you know what? It's a lockdown.
Yeah, he's the only one that saw that.
Yeah, he's like, lockdown peach trees. You know, we're not going to fucking do this. Nuclear test.
He says adults and minors or children or toddlers, or it's a weird word that he used. Maybe it's toddlers.
Yeah, don't leave. Okay.
There's your only two options: adults and toddlers.
But during the
infants
whole
or something, I can't remember now.
Yeah, during the whole like sermon.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they walked in and it was like church day.
Yeah.
The service was about to start. They showed up. I'm like, fuck.
Right.
I got to bring them. So they go through that whole deal and they're like, holiness, bomb. They have these weird fucking.
For sure.
Yeah. Where the fuck is that shit coming from? And
would have been better if it was Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
Preacher man. People want to know why the preacher man wants a new car. Don't ask no questions. People want to know why the church got a big old bomb. Don't ask no questions.
And it looks like a primitive kind of a. It does look like Superman.
Yeah, a little bit.
The little control panels got those clear acrylic fucking rods.
Like it's supposed to be crystals.
So, ooh, yeah. Look at those crystals. Man, that's so super
I bet
cool.
you could make a fortress of solitude out of that.
Gang, what's the energy inside those crystals? Is it kyber crystal? But
what color are they?
Yeah. So they're like one step away.
Yeah,
but they know they're going to die. So they're like, fuck it. We're going to blow everything up.
Yeah.
Then the apes bust in, right? Then they kill
everybody.
They kill Nova.
Yeah.
And Heston at that point is like, I ain't got nothing to live for. Brent's like, hey, let's get the fuck out of here because I don't want to die.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah. And so, Heston's like, I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my own thing.
Right.
So when they go in there, and it's so
Brent's
fucking...
like being super sneaky.
Yeah,
like
but before
Metal
that...
Gear Solid.
Yes, like Snake. Solid Snake.
He is.
So they shoot the preacher, But the preacher's like, hey, what's up? You can't mess with my shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
All I got to do is press it, and they're like, fuck you. Okay. So he's gone, and they're like, this is an abomination. What the fuck is this? Let's tear it down.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, well, they have no idea.
Yeah,
nuclear fission.
Right, true. That is true.
They're like, we use
Give me
mud.
some ropes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your answer to the nuclear weapon. Give me some ropes.
Give me some ropes and let's knock this down.
Yeah, makes sense.
It looks like a rocket. But then, yeah, they get into the firefight.
Yeah.
And Brent's pretty fucking good with that guy. He's like,
he
patow, 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 patow.
There was a firefight.
And then fucking Heston is like peeking around the corner. And they're like, no, another one. And they get him, right? Yeah. He's like, Taylor? He's
Lots
like,
of bullets. Too.
Yeah, he's like, motherfucker. He's like, I told you, Zayas. They want to destroy the whole world. And, you know, Dr. Zayas ain't listening.
Right.
Then the fucking casing opens and
yep.
Smoke everywhere. What the fuck is that shit?
Man.
It was like warm enough to
Poison,
take
I
off.
assume.
Yeah. So
radiation.
Yeah. So what I don't understand is, you know, the red one, because that's the last scene you see. Brent gets shot.
Yeah, Brent gets shot all up. So now everybody's been shot a lot.
Yeah, everybody's dead. And Ursus is dead.
Yep.
Because he gets killed by Brent.
Yep.
And
then Heston's like, you know what? You're all bitches.
Yeah, fuck everybody. I'm out.
These people are all assholes. Let's just finish this timeline.
Yep. Exactly.
And hits the red button, and
it's in his hand. If you notice, it looks like an ape hand.
Yeah.
When he's grabbing it and shit, and you're like, holy shit. So okay, so if that exploded the bomb, what was the mechanism to make it take off, or was it gonna take off?
Well, it may have been, but now it would just go forward into the earth.
Yeah. It's gonna hit right.
It's either way.
Yeah, it's gonna hit the front doors of the church and explode.
That whole area is probably effed in the A, I would say.
Which, honestly, fucking could have ended it there.
Yep.
So,
and that's the end of the Planet of the Apes series, guys. Wait till you see our next episode. No, I'm just kidding. There's more, right, bro?
On Planet of the Apes.
On Planet of Apes. Yes.
Episode 4. Thank you for calling to episode 8.
But there's more. It turns out we're gonna watch. We'll have a new episode coming out after this one. Right?
There's 3 more movies.
3 more movies. I had no idea.
Yes.
I'm down. I just didn't know there were that many.
So this is not going to ruin the movie for you, but the movie is called Escape from the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, okay. Somebody's gonna try to escape.
Mm-hmm. And then you got Conquest.
Oh, okay.
And then you got Battle 4.
Okay.
So Planet Beneath.
Escape.
Farewell.
And then the Conquest. So they come back. And then what? Battle. Then they have a big battle.
Yes, the battle's the end.
Yeah.
It's after the first end.
Yeah. I do like the way they close this out with the narrator. You know of what's it he says? It's.
There was a tiny blue star.
Insignificant planet next to, going around this star. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I was like, and now it's dead.
Yeah, now dead. Yeah, because it was going to detonate in the atmosphere and somehow, like, fucking burn everything to a cinder.
Right.
So
now it detonated underground, and
that's fucked up to think about.
Magma.
Yeah, liquid hot magma. Just think about that idea, though. If they were to detonate a bomb in the upper atmosphere, that would fucking cause it to like everything to
yeah
holy shit.
Yeah, for sure.
That is an alpha and omega. It's the beginning and the end.
Yeah, for sure.
You.
Well, I will say I like this movie. It's definitely way different than the first one as far as pacing. Even like some of the ideas, I think, it goes a little bit further in certain things, but doesn't it open them up completely, where I felt like the first one was like a full wrap back around moment. But I think that this in its own right is not as good as the first one, but like you said, a good sequel. And I like that the pacing was different.
Yes.
And it's a different kind of movie. And you can tell different kinds of movies in a way, right? Not completely different. But in a way, you can tell that kind of movie in a universe, that's its own thing, you know. Like not every movie's going to be the same, like pacing, and it's not everything's The Godfather.
I think that's another reason why I kind of really like this one too, is because it is a sequel, and when I was older, attaching onto these, it was kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of understand this. It is a little bit. So if I was younger, I would have been like, huh, why didn't they do the same thing? But I was glad that it was something different.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
They were in the same world, but they continued it in a good way.
Right.
You know, just, and then the rest of this whole narrative.
It's funny that we keep saying in a different way when it's like, seriously, an astronaut crashes, he meets the same exact girl.
Yeah, and then there's a new threat.
But I would say as far as like the direction and, you know, the...
yeah, there's not a lot of wide shots.
Right.
There's a lot of insular shots. The music was still good, but it was still...
because they were working on the shitty budget, you know?
I know, right? They didn't have the... They were like, recycle the music.
Right.
Thank you. But...
cash grab. Yeah. Cash grab.
Should be a game show. Cash grab.
We're going to give you these 2 scripts.
See which one makes the most money. Go.
Now, for your follow-up sequel, this is Cash Grab.
So the next one, Roddy McDowall is back.
Okay. Guess who's back?
Natalie Trundy. God, there's a lot of people in this next one. Okay. Ricardo Montalban.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
You'll be surprised.
Sir Ricardo Montalban to you. Not really.
It's fucking Con. I watched Spacey the other day.
He had his own personal tattoo.
Of Con?
Ricardo Montalban? Didn't he also play the guy from Fantasy Island?
Yeah. Tattoo.
Yeah. He had a little tattoo guy that worked for him. Who doesn't want that?
I know. I thought you meant like a real tattoo. Like,
he might have a real tattoo.
Is he the one that had the tattoo? And I'm like, maybe. But what was it of?
The plane.
Fantasy Island. He was already old.
Welcome.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, he's much younger. Yeah.
But you'll see the way that this timeline kind of goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it for sure.
Which is pretty fucking awesome.
So, with your great knowledge of these 8 movies and my minimal knowledge beyond the first one, what would you rank this out of 5 apes?
This one?
Yeah.
Out of 5?
Mm-hmm.
I'd put this at the 4
okay.
mark. Yeah.
Okay.
I put this at the 4 mark because it was a sequel, but it was familiar.
Okay.
But it didn't overdo the same things. You know,
That's fair.
It did them because, like we said, it did it in a different way. But it did it in a more, it did it in a way for this particular movie to work. So they went in there trying to get the same success, and they were like, you know what, we have to change it up. It's got to be a little bit different.
Right.
And they had a little bit more freedom with that. There's a lot of times movies when they get to the sequel standpoint don't have any kind of freedom. They're like formula.
Right.
They're like, we're going to give you 2 pieces, apes and man. Same planet. You roll with it. How'd they get there? So that's why I really enjoy this movie. And the more that I watch it, because I watched it, I think 6 times in a row, like a week straight. Then I watched it yesterday, day before. God, I watched it maybe 10 times.
Okay.
And every time I would watch it, there's those cheesy parts, at the very beginning. But until everything kind of kicks in, wink, everything is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, this is a great movie.
I enjoyed it. I would probably give it 3 gorillas, 1 orangutan, and 1 chimpanzee.
Damn.
Which would bring you to about a 3.75 ape.
How much is a gorilla worth?
1. Orangutan's half. And chimpanzee's a quarter.
Oh,
I'm just mostly going by size.
That's good. That's how we'll rank them from now on. Give it 2 gorillas, 3 orangutans, which wouldn't make sense. No, the whole series to me is just such a wealth of awesome shit.
Seems like there's a lot of world building, especially if there's 3 more movies, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So there's got to be a lot of world building. In 2 movies, we got humans and apes, but I feel like things have to start all over and I'll leave that alone because I don't know. With that, listeners, why don't you let us know what you guys think of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and tell us if we missed something, just talking about it, or something you want to talk about with the movie, or maybe it's your first time watching it like it was for me. Let us know. Where could they do that at?
Dropculture.com.
Yeah, that's a place.
Dropculturepodcast@gmail.com. Menards aisle 12.
Right next to the batteries.
Yes, and the dog toys.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Twitter.
Oh, yeah, we do have a Twitter.
Facebook.
Yes.
And Reddit.
And Insta spam.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
I think we're on Reddit.
Yeah, we're on Reddit.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, later,
so
dude.
you can check us out any of those places. Let us know what you think. And if you like what you hear, you could always give us a like, maybe a subscribe. As we always say, you never have to listen, just download. Appreciate you guys very much, and peace.
Pieces. Damn, I need to go through this room and get rid of all the sounds.